Hello! This one might be a little bit rough and ready, and also you've probably already noticed that the light has dipped some because yesterday was the day my PC, not my work computer happily, but my PC has died a death and I need to resurrect it at some point in time. So that's why my webcam isn't providing its ring light at the moment, which is why everything looks just a little bit darker. And I'm not mirroring to here, I'm pointing in front of me, but over to there. So I at least know I'm in shot, but apart from that, who knows? Folks, yesterday was a day. It's probably one of the worst days I've had in a while. It was not a great combination. I woke up groggy because I made the mistake of leaving the heating on overnight, which was very silly. And so I was groggy for the first couple of hours. I then discovered that my PC has died, that it was not booting, and on top of those very tiny in comparison things, everything that was happening in the US. And I think I just bumped the mic there, so my apologies. But yeah, towards the end of the day, I spent probably just an hour sitting and watching a live stream of someone who was streaming from an office on Pine in Capitol Hill in Seattle. I've walked those streets and watching them filled with police. It was a whole other thing. There's a Black Lives Matter protest on this Saturday in town. And so I don't know how much work I'm going to get done for the rest of this week. Hopefully, I'll get some more done on the other proof of concept I wanted to get done. All right, so all of that aside, because I know that you've got a lot going on in your world. I don't want to weigh you down with everything that's happening with me, but I thought it was good to acknowledge that at least. It feels important to say, yeah, the first half of yesterday was a mess, and cannot thank Lina Van Deventer enough for she tweeted something which really framed my thinking about that day. I think she had, I can't speak to what was going on in her neck of the woods, but she mentioned that her day was tanked and that was okay. It just meant she was on the night shift. And that's what I did. I sat down, watched some TV with my partner, and then had a workout so that I could feel just something different in my body. And I felt so much better for it. And let's get back onto our tiny geeky neck of the woods. I'm going to see if I can make this work. But I've put together a proof of concept. You're going to see half of it if it works. But I'll talk about this more in a sec. I'm just reaching over to grab my Alexa, and so now I should be back in shot. Let's see if this works. 'Cause it just, I'll do it first and then I'll talk about it. Computer, open Bounty Hunter.
Welcome to the hot seat, Captain. You are piloting the Corvette Sunstar, in combat range of the Corvette Meridian. Strap on your jacket, start giving your crew orders.
Request access to ship Sunstar, authorization code cheese wheel.
Unrecognized ship access code cheese wheel.
Request access to ship Sunstar, authorization code Alpha Gamma Sigma 519.
Authorization code accepted for Corvette Sunstar.
How badass does that feel? Like it's such a great sci-fi trope of, whether it's letting out the big weapons or whether it's self-destruct mechanism or whatever, that present authorization code and then being able to recognize it reliably. And it's a proof of concept, so there's some stuff in there that's still a little bit rough, but yeah, I love that. Especially, God, it feels so fun. I'm just going to pop Alexa back over there and then I'll be back in shot. It feels so...
determined your requested intent is Amazon fallback intent.
Computer, exit. It was still in the skill. But yeah, it feels so much fun. It feels like so much fun doing that, especially when you get into that rhythm of, You know, when you see it in shows, when you have the captain going, Alpha, Gamma, Cheese, Red, Brick, Door, 5, 8, Alpha. So yeah, I was pretty happy with that. Now what you can't see is that now has glued together a series of things so that what actually happens is over on Discord, because that skill is paired to a Discord account, over on Discord, that user gets added to a specific channel. They get permissions to access the comms channel for the Sunstar, this particular ship. So there's a whole raft of things that you would be doing outside of a proof of concept around the account linking works, like that's all as per how it should work. But there's a whole raft of other things that you would be putting in a lot of user experience considerations around outside of a proof of concept, inviting the user to the Discord channel and then making sure that they're there, and what happens if they're not there, ratatata. And then making sure, you know, if you're interacting with the skill, you know, just making sure that everything is lining up, and inside the skill itself, if those things aren't set, then guiding the user towards making those things happen. But that's all the polish. Like that, I'm pretty happy with that. When I was first looking at Discord, I got so hung up on I want to be able to send the user private messages. That's how it's got to work. And then, like, I did look at webhooks at the time, and going back over it, I sort of cast the net for advice, and folks recommended, well, you know, use webhooks. Webhooks are simple. And I thought back over it, and I thought, well, hang on. And actually, there was some really great advice as well that I've got to follow up on that was provided by Ash, by Ace. I can't talk apparently. Ace Jack on Twitter. Around using messaging systems. And I'll come back and look at that at some point in time. But I thought about it and I thought, well, if webhooks are the simplest tool that I have available, when I could put together a proof of concept that just uses private lockdown administration channels and just uses those as the messaging system. Because Discord already, if I'm using Discord, then I'm already using like a messaging system of a sort. And then on the other end, just use a Discord bot. And so I dug into the thing that I'd looked at previously, which was discord.py as a Python framework for putting together a Discord bot rather. And it was really straightforward. It's that there's always that great feeling when you're dealing with tech of when you make the right choice, there's no friction. There's no limitation from the tech itself. It's just a matter of, well, what do you want to do? Okay, well, that's how you do it. And using discord.py, it feels that way. And so yeah, so that's all working now. And that's really exciting because there's a whole lot of things I can see that you could use that for. Use Discord and the skill message API to be able to send stuff back to Alexa. I'm really excited about that. The next thing I want to look at, and I'm probably not going to get a chance to do it this week because it's a fairly hefty investment. There's two things I want to look at next. And one of those is using Flask to serve a file, because I want to do that as a preemptive for the dynamic audio stuff that's coming up next week. Going to be starting that. The other thing that I really want to look at as well is providing some kind of dynamic web application that uses HTML5 to do some basic drawing, because I think there's something really interesting there, or something really evocative, especially with this skill, but I don't know if I'm going to do that as part of this project. I think that's going to be outside this scope. Flask, I can justify, and I'll probably fold that into the dynamic audio side of things. But yeah, that's using HTML5. I can see some really cool stuff that you could do with that, but I think that's going to be outside of the scope of what I'm doing here. Anyway, that is a whole lot of words. There's a whole lot of words about a whole lot of things. Let's close out, because this is meant to be my morning stand-up. So what am I doing today? Well, I'm taking a little bit of a break, and then I'm going to get back into designing the interface, but designing the experience around a conversational experience that provides some interface friction, dealing with an unwilling participant and how that might be interesting. I'm going to start designing that this afternoon and this evening. But like I said, I don't know how much work I'm honestly going to get done for the rest of this week. So I might end up using Sunday to do a little bit more work as well. Because I think especially as that protest on Saturday gets closer, the more that's going to occupy my headspace. All of that aside, I hope that you are well and I hope that you are safe. There is a lot going on out there at the moment. There's a lot to deal with. I know that some of this is things that people have been dealing with for a long time, and we're all being forced into a broader horizon, but at the same time it's a very challenging time to have that happen. So be kind to yourself. Keep an eye out for those around you. Be compassionate to them if you can. We're going to get through this. I should be back on deck tomorrow. At the very least, I'll commit to putting together a video talking about how things are going. And I'll talk to you soon. See ya.